Frankly, I'm more surprised by how subdued volatility has been for so long. So I expected that we would see a lot more volatility throughout 2017 and into 2018. And the markets have been so incredibly calm. They haven't reacted to uncertainty or any global events that are unraveling. And it's surprising because the markets don't like uncertainty. So when there's any confusion in the market, typically they do respond to that. And really, for quite an extended period of time, they've been very, very calm. So seeing some of that volatility come back to the market is not so surprising.
Is that a message then to investors that get used to it, buckle up?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to go away right away. And as I said, I'm just surprised we haven't seen it sooner. I think that we will see a little bit of choppiness for at least for the next few weeks.
President Trump had tweeted at one point that he thought it was because of uncertainty ahead of the midterm elections. What do you think's been causing it?
Yeah, we saw, if you look back to 2016, we did see some uncertainty around elections and the Brexit referendum and then the presidential election. But then we did see, the market absorbs news much more quickly than it ever did before. Information travels so much faster. Mm-hmm. So when news comes out, it gets very quickly absorbed by the market, and it had leveled off. And we saw a lot of things that were happening last year that normally the market would have reacted and they hadn't. So I do think we'll see a little bit over the next few weeks.
Stacey, what are your biggest concerns when you think through things, kind of looking on the horizon over the next year or two?
Well, frankly, we're concerned about the number of public companies. If I'm just looking at providing investors with opportunities to invest in growth companies and the most dynamic and the most exciting companies that are out there, many of them are waiting to come public. So that is something that we are focused on. We want to make sure that it's all about balance. Making sure that investors and issuers' needs are balanced in the market. And that manifests itself in a number of different places. And a lot of the issues that we talk about get back to that driving principle of, are we balancing benefits and obligations? Are we balancing risks and opportunities?
We spoke with Adena Friedman, the CEO of the NASDAQ, last week, and she had some of the same concerns just about IPOs, why more companies aren't coming public. I guess the answer is that they haven't had to come public because there are plenty of investors who are willing to invest early on. What sparked that? What problems does that present, do you think, to the exchanges and, more importantly, to investors, retail investors?
Well, I think the second part is what the more important part, right? And what it means for investors. There is access to private capital, and when I sit here and I look at what's my vision for the New York Stock Exchange, I could certainly explore entering into the private market space, but I don't think that's the best thing for investors that then miss out on those opportunities. So our goal is to make sure that the public markets are more accessible to investors of all size, small and mid-size, and companies of all size, small and mid-size companies. And Chairman Clayton has shared this view, and he's publicly said he wants to make sure our markets are welcoming to small and mid-sized companies, because the periods of growth that happen before a company it comes public, if it's waiting until it's very large, is missed out on the Main Street investor. They don't get to take part in that. But there is a lot of value to being a public company. The U.S. equity markets are the most liquid in the world. And we see that. I mean, Spotify's announcing earnings today. They are a company that didn't need to raise capital at all, but saw the value of being a public company and decided to go take that path anyway. So I do think we need to make sure that message is out there, and that companies, as they're growing, recognize the value that the public markets provide. And one of the messages that I deliver to companies that are considering whether or not they want to access the public markets, that are kind of in that pre-IPO stage, is that that's a service too, right? I mean, if you want to make sure that the everyday investor has those opportunities, our mission for the past 226 years has been to help companies raise money so that they can go out and change the world. But we want investors to be able to share in that success. And so that's a big part of what we're focused on.